How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. Football Sunday, baby. Coming up very shortly. We got to stir some things up. Got to do some polarizing action. You know what they say, do it for the clicks, right? No. As I do my best, I always try to read through you guys' comments. Sometimes I just realize that sometimes I just like to write long paragraphs in response to you guys' long paragraphs. Because I love it. I think that's one of my favorite parts of doing all this is the conversations between other Bengals fans that are all in and such big fans of it, and they want to see the team succeed. They got their opinions, their ideas just as much as I do. It's great to hear those kind of come together. We agree, we disagree, whatever. We'll have our different viewpoints and perspectives on what needs done. Nonetheless, so shout out to you guys. I know there's a few of you guys that are regularly. Shasi. I see your stupid great YouTube name. Not really. That's kind of mean, but anyway, you do you. Guys like that. I know you guys are constantly commenting on the YouTube videos, and just know I appreciate it. I always read them. But nonetheless, we got a comment today about we was talking about the Browns Bengals, and I was an unbiased one saying, the Browns probably take this one, and he brought up talking about, his personal unbiased opinion and thinking Zac Taylor is not the best coach in the world. And he's a product of Joe Burrow. And, just to further elaborate what he was saying, Zac Taylor does a great job in the locker room. He's a very good coach's player kind of guy. Gets the guys motivated, gets the guys ready to play. Thinks he game plans properly. It's more about being the in-game coach, making the in-game adjustments when things aren't going right, where he's like, I don't think he does the best there. He's struggling there. And I think, Joe Burrow, being Joe Burrow, it doesn't matter who your head coach is. You're going to win, he's going to win you 8-9 games, and he's going to keep you here with a job. And, I was like, that's interesting. Could be right, could be wrong. At the end of the day, we all have our own opinions or perspectives. And, it's interesting, though, because I've thought about this before, and I think a lot of people do. It's like he's not wrong when you say, hey, he's going to win you 8-9 games. It doesn't matter who your coach is. Absolutely freaking right he is, because that's Joe Burrow, and that's the kind of player he is. It doesn't matter who your coach is. But I think what's interesting is our viewpoints on this being a little bit different in this state where I think Taylor does better in in-game adjustments. We get to halftime, we get to the second half. It feels like the team starts to figure things out. I think where my issue with Taylor is the game planning. How many times have we seen the Cincinnati Bengals in the first half just get blanked? It seems like they're lost. And this is why the second half adjustments stand out by Taylor. But when you're struggling in the first half, you're playing conservative in the first half, you're not making plays, you're not scoring good points, you're not defending, whatever. That is strictly put on the coach, reflective of the game plan he made for that team that they're going up against. And I think that has been a weakness of big magnitude of Zac Taylor over the years. That being said, the thing about it, coaches being on your team, is he driving the ship, or is he a product of another quarterback and that forth? And do you keep this guy on your team? I always think there's going to be a pros and a cons list of every single coach in this league. You can come up with 100 pros. Somebody else can give you 100 cons. I'm sure Patriots fans have come up with 57 different reasons they don't like Bill Belichick. Meanwhile, he had a dynasty over there with Tom Brady. At the end of the day, you look and say, do the pros, though, outweigh the cons? And you look at Zac Taylor, and again, we talk about it. We say, hey, this guy, you can't stress enough what he's got going on in this locker room. You can't stress enough not only what he has going on in this locker room, but he built that. He's 100% responsible for that. You remember, he came in, he dropped all those Marvin Lewis guys, even some of the cornerstones, said, see you later. I'm building something different here. It was his strategy, his idea to bring in all these team captains, and it's reflective. This isn't a bunch of selfish players. This isn't a bunch of players that are all about themselves. They're all about the team. They're for the team. You see guys taking discounts again. Is it Zac Taylor in that culture, in that locker room, or is it these guys taking discounts because it's Joe Burrow and he's helping us? We have a chance to win a championship here. And I think it's a combination of both. I think there's a combination of, Taylor's a product of Joe Burrow, but he could still be a really solid coach in this league. Because at the end of the day, Burrow's going to get guys to come over and stay. But if that locker room's toxic and there's nothing good about that coach, we've seen great quarterbacks in other teams. With the exception of Tom Brady, you really look around in the league and say, all these guys wanted to go. They all look for the money. Look at Chris Jones right now. Look at Tyreek Hill, Devontae. No, I think Green Bay was going to keep Devontae, actually, wasn't it? But you look at teams like that where you don't see as many of their players. It happens still, and there was Kansas City players that did it. Don't get me wrong, but there is the chance where these guys still walk out the door and don't say, I'm going to do it just because I like the quarterback here. So you have to give Taylor a lot of credit there for the camaraderie, for the unity he's built in that locker room. and it doesn't feel like you have those selfish players, because that's huge. And it instills confidence. And, you know, if when you're playing for everybody, you have that confidence. This team feels like they're never out of games. Look how many times they've come back and won. Look how many times, again, they've been counted out. And they was never supposed to be in a Super Bowl, the AFC Championship. It wasn't supposed to be anywhere. And these guys played with confidence, felt like they was the best team in the league. You got to look back at the coach. And that is huge, because you know what? We talk about the pros and the cons. Look what Marvin Lewis did for this team. He did a lot of good things for this Cincinnati Bengals team, but he could not win a big game to save his life. And that goes back, again, reflective on the coach, building up that locker room, getting these guys to believe, have the confidence. So you cannot look at all over what Zac Taylor's done from that standpoint. That's huge. I mean, that's bigger than a lot of the list of cons to say, okay, he can be our coach for that reason. The other thing is, I think what I like about Zac Taylor is he's a very adaptive coach. He's, again, when Burrow came in the league, you remember he said, Burrow, what's your 10 favorite plays in LSU? And he's like, let's put those in a playbook. So he does, he does big things like that, and he's willing to change. He's a young guy. He's not stuck in his ways, which, again, big con if you ask me for a coach where you're stuck in your ways from 20 years ago. The game's constantly evolving. As a coach, you have to adapt, or you're just going to fall down, and you're going to falter, and you're going to slowly but surely phase out of this league. So I think he's got great qualities from that regards. I think we've seen him do great from the mid-game adjustments. My big concern, not along with the game planning beginning of the game, my other concern with Zac Taylor is, and this is a big con, we've talked about this in the past, is Joe Burrow is, in my opinion, the modern day Peyton Manning from a seeing the field standpoint, from a guy that could just call the entire offense if he had to. He's obviously got other qualities, other traits that Manning doesn't. And Manning's got other qualities and traits that that Burrow doesn't, and so on and so forth. But I think when you think about a guy like that his football IQ, his level of knowledge of the game and understanding of everything going around him, the matchups, constantly picking apart defenses, he's that guy. And when we bring that up because I think if the Bengals had to, and if they wanted to, if Zac Taylor chose to, Joe Burrow could run the no-huddle offense, the hurry-up offense like Peyton Manning used to, wear down defenses and run up and down the field. Now, the pros and the cons of that. The pros of that is, hey, run up and down the field, scoring touchdowns. The cons of that, obviously, if you do it quickly, your defense comes right back on the field and they're not getting as much time to rest. But hey, they're going to get a lot of time to rest if you go 3 and out 3 times in the first quarter anyway, right? And this is my big thing with it. That's something different they can try. It's not something that's a permanently implement, but Joe Burrow's been getting killed for 3 straight years. Yeah, they've been bringing in offensive linemen. They've been trying to do the best to bolster that offensive line. You got to keep your quarterback healthy. But nothing's more important than keeping your franchise quarterback healthy. And if Zac Taylor is not making the proper coaching decisions to keep your quarterback healthy, that is when you say, you know what, that con is bigger than the pros. And that's fireable offense. So my question is, for Zac Taylor, is why have we not seen a hurry-up offense? If Joe Burrow is getting killed game in and game out. Remember the playoff game, was it LA? Was it Vegas? Tennessee? 2-minute drill, the headset wasn't working. Joe Burrow called the entire offense they called every player on the field at 2 minutes because they couldn't contact the sidelines. Ran him up down the field. He did great. He's proven time and time again he can do it. And it's proven fact. You run that no-huddle offense, that hurry-up offense, you can't substitute players defensively. You're wearing down that defense, constantly running up and down that field. You want to slow down an opposing team's pass rush. You want to help out an offensive line that is crippling your quarterback. You run a no-huddle offense, a hurry-up offense, so they can't go into the sideline and get some rest, get a breather, come out there on 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and come at that quarterback because they're going to be wore down. So that's my big question is why has that not happened? Because as far as I'm concerned, even if it wears your defense down a little bit more and your defense might give up 4 or 5 points more on average, that's a lot. That's not that crazy. But, let's say your defense goes from 8th ranked to like 12th ranked or something because of what you're doing, a little bit more worn out. That's still better than your quarterback potentially retiring in 4 years, or your quarterback missing 4 to 5 games or 7 games or a year or whatever because he's constantly getting hit by the opposing team's pass rushers. So that's my big question. Why has that not even been attempted? I think we might have seen like once or twice. It wasn't really hurry up where they wouldn't know huddle, but why has that not been something that's been tried to be implemented in the past to try and alleviate this pass rush against teams? Because again, not only that, it's just, I trust in the fact that Joe Burrow runs no huddle like that. He's going to pick them apart and you give him 4 wide every time, put a running back in the backfield. He's going to find those matchups and tear them apart. Nonetheless, besides that, I mean, I've become a big Zac Taylor fan. I'm very a Zac Taylor supporter. Again, I don't think his success is definitely partially a product of Joe Burrow. His success is also a product of being a good coach. It's some of both, in my opinion. I think overall, that's just that's where my concerns lie. But I like what he's done. I don't think you can overstate how important it is to have a coach that can build a winning culture, build a team that is for the team, and not for themselves, all it takes is one. All it takes is two. All it takes is one, really. It takes one bad apple in that locker room to divide everybody. One selfish player divides everybody. It becomes about me. Contract year, it's about me. I'm worried about getting the football. I'm not playing enough. Whatever. All it takes is that, and all of a sudden it trickles around. You're down a couple touchdowns. All of a sudden stuff starts to, your confidence goes downhill. But right now, the Bengals are as resilient as anybody in the league. And you look back at the coach for that. You look back at, the halftime adjustments. I think he does great there. Nonetheless, that was an interesting topic. So, thanks for bringing it up to me. Thank you guys for watching, though. We'll see you next time.